that I won't leave you. I'll stay beside you. I'm never letting you go. You've been lost and alone in the city lights, I know. But I will guide you home. Fight your battles, always by yourself. In the shadows, hear you cry for help. No matter the distance, I will always be there. No more inhibitions, I'll show you I care. You've been lost and alone in the city lights, I know. Getting high, feeling low, and it's out of your control. You should know that I won't leave you. I'll stay beside you. I'm never letting you go. You've been lost and alone in the city lights, I know. But I will guide you home.
Front, now we're going to see a little four-wide action.
Crazy out of the triangle.
Oh, he gets in the lead on the record.
3x3 entering
3-2. At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning at Talladega. Hello everybody and welcome into the NOMA Gen 6 Series live from the Lady in Black. Yes, it is Darlington Raceway, and we appreciate you all coming out here tonight. You are watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. Drivers rolling off the grid. We're ready to get this thing started, so let's head right down trackside. and get to your starting grid. Very small field here tonight, tough track. And I think that's part of the reason. Matthew Fritz, though, he will take the pole to his outside. It's going to be Kenneth Redinger, third, a teammate to that 24th car. It's going to be John Lynch, Justin Palm rounding out row number 2. It's Chase Greer and Zach Stevens in row number 3. Grant Turner back in 7th with Bradley King 8th. Brianna Laurent in 9th, and Jay Stinson rounding out your top 10. Taking a look at the race info, it is the PitStall 150 here in the Gen 6 Series. It's going to be 110 laps here tonight. Everybody going to have 65% fuel, 5 sets of tires, 1 fast pair if you need it. As always, fixed setups, and 3 green-white checkers. Looking at track length, 1.3 miles the distance here for the Lady in Black. Track temp tonight starting 119 degrees. These guys could be slipping and sliding a little bit, but not what we normally see in the next gens. Gen 6 Series, been a lot of fun so far throughout the season. The fun's going to continue here tonight. Here we go. The pace car is going to pull off. They will roll up into the Geico restart zone for the first time here tonight. Matthew Fritz on the inside. Kenneth Redinger on the outside. Green flag in the air at Darlington. Trouble already as caution is out just as we were getting ready for the start of the race. Crank it up segment. Chase Stinson has gone around before even making it to the start-finish line, it looks like. Rough start to the actually, I was looking to see here. Did he get... Can't tell if he's got any front-end damage or if it's more towards the rear. From the inside, I think the suspension's okay. So whatever he got couldn't have been too bad. Looks like Brianna Laurent may have been the other car involved. Let's go back and take a look at this. First here, we'll go to the chopper view. As, yeah, I'm thinking this is going to start from either a checkup or somebody missing a shift. See if that's indeed the case. There's Brianna Laurent on the inside in the 7, and ooh, she spins the tires, gets right into the outside wall. That's a tough break for Jay Stinson. That might be a fast spare for him. He's got all that damage in the front end. Let's go back and take a ride on board here with Brianna to see. Take a listen and keep an eye on the RPMs. See if they rev up here out of nowhere. Yeah, it's just wheel spin. Nothing more to it. I mean, I didn't think that'd really be a factor here until we got a little bit into this race. But, man, right off the get-go, even on fresh tires, look at the RPMs jump. 53, 54. And then all of a sudden, there's that spike rate coming on it. And there it is. As soon as she gets on the throttle, 67. Man, yeah. Just a lot of tire spin. Jay Stinson with absolutely nowhere to go. When he piles in, they get up into the outside wall and continue on. Oh, actually, Jay spins it around, too. So he's getting some tire spin in that as well. Flagman had a good look at it. Let's take a couple more views of this one here. And so, honestly, I'm surprised we didn't see it. I mean, I think you see it a little bit in front here. Looks like the 39 machine of Grant Turner, but just not able to hold on. I think Brianna Laurent, yeah, Jay Stinson's only got damage really on the left front. Brianna Laurent's going to have it in the side and the front. So we'll see if that's that one fast pair gone for 2 of the drivers here early on. Going back live up front, Matthew Fritz still being scored as your leader. John Lynch, though, looks like was able to steal second in probably about the 10 seconds there that we went green. Moving on back through the field, it is Kenneth Redinger in 3rd, Chase Greer 4th, Justin Parb in 5th, Grant Turner 6th, Zach Stevens back in 7th, Bradley King 8th, Jay Stinson and Brianna Laurent still in the pits trying to get some damage fixed. Nancy Hickox in the chat says, hey, Austin, ready for a good race. Good to see you out here, Nancy. And we are getting ready for more of the same. Again, this is race 4 of the season. Started with Daytona, then went to Old Atlanta, followed by the Tricky Triangle. And here tonight we are at the Lady in Black. And, you know, Darlington, it's one of those tracks, we talk about it, it's really tough. Turns 1 and 2, completely different from 3 and 4, and nobody's really had a chance to go through them yet. Of course, there was a practice session before this, but I think the smaller field, if you were going to have it at any track, this is the track to do it. 2 wide is hard enough in itself. I don't think we're going to see really anybody trying 3 wide. It's going to be interesting to see here if Kenneth Redinger can maybe look for a back-to-back win. Got it done last week at Pocono, looking to get it done tonight here at Darlington. He's got 2 teammates, 1 behind, 1 just in front on the outside, Lynch and Parham. We do have a couple driver cams here tonight. We'll take a look at those in just a moment. With the one-to-go signal here. We didn't talk about fuel yet either, but it's, again, not sure the exact number, but we know these guys have 65%. And so you got to think they're going to be able to probably make this in, I don't know, it's going to be close on a 1-stopper. They might be able to do it. If not, it's going to be a very short 2-stopper. So we'll see if we see any strategy play. Matthew Fritz, a couple teammates in the field tonight. The 8 of Chase Greer, the 33 of Zach Stevens, and of course the 31 of Jay Stinson. So here we go. Pace truck's going to pull back off. We will try this yet again. as they roll back up into the Geico restart zone. 4 laps complete after caution is all cleaned up. Just like that, we are back to racing. Green flag in the air at Darlington. First green flag lap complete. It's going to go to Matthew Fritz in the 29. Chasing, though, from a close second is John Lynch in the 13 machine. And everybody trying to get a feel here. It looks like once they were able to get through the restart, though, cars handling pretty good, all things considered, on cold tires. A lot of separation through that first lap, as it looks like Chase Greer, the last one, still in touch with the leaders, just over a second back. After that, these guys starting to fade here in a hurry. Zach Stevens is trying to get up there. Grant Turner really close in second. Thought we had some contact back here. Couldn't tell exactly who it was. Looks like everybody saves it. It's going to be able to continue on. Look at Fritz running the line. He's going to arc it up. This is coming through 1 and 2 before he goes back down. Exit here is the trickiest part. In fact, let's go take a ride on board here with Matthew Fritz. We'll take you a lap around Darlington. So he's kind of getting woed up right now. Again, tires still getting up the temperature. This will probably be his fastest lap here this next time around. There's the first Darlington stripe of the night for the driver, the 29. But as he roars down to take the green flag, if this were to be another restart, he goes, you get into turn 1 and 2, you have to get right down just below that white line. You wash up all the way to the wall. You don't want to hit it, but you got to get that full arc. And then when you get down on exit, same deal. There's a bump right on the exit you got to be careful of before you get up to over 180 miles an hour down the back straightaway. And then 3 and 4 here, a lot tighter of a radius. You're going to have to slow down more, but you run the turn a little bit different. Kind of stay a little bit more higher, not as much of an arc. And then exit's a little bit easier, no bump to have to worry about. 170, almost 180, going down the front straightaway as well. So Matthew Fritz with cleanest air right now. He's going to get the most downforce and probably have the best handling of anybody. And you wonder, is Kenneth Redinger saving a little tire here as he had fallen back to third? Thought maybe he'd pretty quickly reel back in his teammate John Lynch. That's not been the case. Justin Parham right now in 4th. Grant Turner back in 5th. Zach Stevens, who's in 6th. He hasn't caught, but Grant Turner did. In fact, a couple guys switched spots. Chase Greer fell back. You got to wonder if he had a slip-up. Jace Dixon already working his way back to the field after that lap one incident. And it does look like, unfortunately, for any Brianna Laurent fans out in the chat, she has already fallen a lap down. She's going to need caution. Going further down the back stretch here. I was trying to see. You're not going to really get too much battling as Chase Greer tapped the outside wall right there tonight. He actually has got a little bit, it looks like, right front damage. Not sure exactly what happened here to the 8, except you got to think he maybe got himself Darlington stripe. Whatever it is, it can't be too bad. Looks like the right side doesn't really have any full-on damage. Chase Greer, one of the Venom Racing drivers. Not too many teammates out in the field tonight. He got passed by one of them just a couple laps ago. Jay Stinson, who is already up 3 positions from where he started this race at. He is chasing Zach Stevens. And then they are all chasing right now your current leader in Matthew Fritz. We did talk about we got some driver cams here tonight, so let's take a look at him. First one we're going to start with is the man running second right now, John Lynch in the 13 machine. He's been proud of what this team has accomplished already right from the get-go. The driver out of Yulee, Florida. He's going to have some pressure in the next couple laps. Looks like Kenneth Redinger maybe saved some tire. Maybe the 13's handling is starting to go away a little bit, but he is reeling him in. In fact, he's got to run down the backstretch. We'll see if he looks to make a pass here in 3 and 4. Nothing doing yet. Kenneth dipping down to the bottom just a little bit. I thought he was going to take a peek. Couldn't quite make it happen there, so he's going to tuck back down in line. Now he gets another run. Coming down the front stretch, he will get to the inside. I don't think his teammate will race him too hard. There you go. John Lynch is going to let him go right as they get down into the turn. Moving on back a little bit further in the field, just a couple spots. Grant Turner, overall up 2 from where he started this race at. He's got the pedal cam. Normally we don't show it too much, but we might have to show it a couple times here tonight because he is going to be working the brake and the throttle. You do have to use the brake, especially in 3 and 4. 1 and 2 is a little bit more just kind of let off the gas. But man, he is working the wheel a lot here tonight, and when these things start to get on old tires, start to wear down, it's going to get that much harder. Pit tires are going to be one of those things tonight where maybe on that second pit stop, if you maybe you have a chance at trying some strategy. I'm trying to think these guys, again, we know that they still have to make at least one green flag stop. You're not going to be able to do anywhere close to near 100 laps green flag racing on 65% fuel, but even if you have to make that second stop, you start to get some questions in strategy play. Do you take tires? Do you take 2? Do you take 4? Maybe even take none. I think at a track like Darlington, you may have to sacrifice a little bit of time for at least 2, if not 4 tires. You're going to need it, as we are going to see a lot of fall off as this race goes on. Further back, Jay Stinson, no more progress made yet on his teammate Zach Stevens. Those two currently about a second and a half apart at the moment. Again, with the bigger field we saw at Pocono, a lot of guys looking to make a recovery and get some big points here tonight, as it looks like Bradley King has already brought it down to the pits. I gotta think this was an unscheduled pit stop. It looks like the rear of the car is jacked up, and there you go. It's gonna get the right side now, so he has taken his first pit stop of the night. And like I said, I almost don't think that's scheduled for the 17. We only had about 10 to 12 green flag laps, and I don't see any damage. We didn't get any data that he was involved in any sort of incident. So that's a tough break there for Bradley King. He's going to have to hope for a caution if he wants to get back on the lead lap. Puts him 2 down. Brandon Lawrence still 1 lap down. And we talk about lap traffic. Even if there is only 10 cars, I think you will see it at some point here tonight. And the problem with making a green flag stop that you always worry about here at Darlington, you're going to lose at least 1, potentially 2 laps under green. And you really don't want to get a caution right as you've just pitted if the leader's still out. That's how you can find yourself trapped a lap or 2 down and ultimately can bring your race to an end. So if you're Matthew Fritz, your single goal right now is to try to continue to stretch as big of a gap as possible on the rest of the field. But Kenneth Redinger, he has trimmed that gap down now under a second, make it 7/10, now 6/10 of a second. I think he was just saving a little tire at the beginning. He is going to be catching the 29 here in the next couple laps. And if you're Matthew Fritz, what adjustments do you make right here? Darlington, one of those tracks, very aero dependent here. We'll see if Fritz tries to maybe take away the line of Kenneth Redinger. Looks like there is some lap traffic ahead that they will be coming up on here in just a couple laps. I think it might be Brianna Lawrence. And if you're Redinger, maybe you get up here if you need to, try to use her as a pick to make the move on the 29. Right now, Redinger looks really comfortable, not sliding the tires much. Meanwhile, Matthew Fritz, man, that was a big moment coming off of turn number 4. Almost lost it. He's able to keep it together. But here you go. Running in just about the tire tracks. He's able to duck the left side of his nose out, get a little bit of clean air. On exit, not quite the same there, as Fritz will actually pull a little bit of a gap down the back straightaway. I thought tonight may have been a throwback contest for these guys. We'll take a look at that. Maybe some points here in just a little bit. That indeed, yeah, it was. It was indeed a throwback. Looks like Matthew Fritz, no throwback scheme for him, but Kenneth Redinger, I think it's pretty obvious to tell what that one is. He's got a Jeff Gordon throwback on there. John Lynch, nothing too different. Same for Parm, and then I think maybe we got another Jeff Gordon throwback here for Grant Turner, Jay Stinson, Chase Greer, no throwbacks. Brandon Lawrence running the Star Wars paint scheme, and Bradley King with the Gatorade. I don't know if that's necessarily a throwback either. So right now, you got to give it to Kenneth Redinger, I think, for the best scheme. Matthew Fritz going to have to let the 24 go. He made that 3-wide move there right as they were going past the 7 of Brandon Lawrence. Let's go back and take a look at that. I said we weren't going to see 3 wide, but I guess if you had to do it, the straightaway was the place to do it. There you go. Let's actually back that up one more time. And does he just get a run here, or does Fritz catch Brianna at a bad time? I think it's going to be that Fritz just catches her at a bad time here. Yeah, he does. Coming right off of turn 2. Ooh, she gets into the outside wall. He's got to check up, dips low, but just too late. Lost all the momentum. Kenneth Redinger saw the opportunity, pounced on it, and just like that, we have a new leader here at the Lady in Black. So as Kenneth Redinger takes the lead, Matthew Fritz will settle into second. John Lynch still chasing at number 29. Justin Parham back and forth. Zach Stevens 5th. Grant Turner in 6th. Jay Stinson 7th. Chase Greer 8th. Bradley King 9th. Brianna Lawrence, the last car in your top 10. Ooh, heavy damage. This was from separate contact, and the right front is destroyed. That's more than a Darlington stripe. This will be a fast pair for Brianna Lawrence if she's got one left. She was involved in that incident just before the green flag dropped. And this could be terminal here. We'll have to go back and take a look. I think this happened just a lap after that contact that she made with the wall as Matthew Fritz had caught up. She is trying to limp this thing back to the pits. She's finally going to find a spot to slide in. And I don't even know if she'll make it back. We'll go see if that damage is repairable in just a moment. Let's back this all the way up. Again, we didn't get any data that she actually had crashed, but you can certainly tell something went wrong, and it looks like she hit that outside wall. And, oh, yeah, this is going to be contact with Justin Parham here. We'll go to the blimp cam. And Parham sees an opportunity. He jumps low, and he just He cooks it in there, to be honest. But she gets into the outside wall. It's hard to say. I mean, I take it back. And from initial look, it looked to me like Parham got in there too hot. But I don't know if he did. I mean, he's certainly sliding a little bit. But I don't know if there's necessarily contact there. If Brianna doesn't bounce off the outside wall, and then once she does, she gets back down into the 9 car, and then that's what shoots her up into the outside wall for that second hit, which destroys the suspension. Let's back that up a couple more times, and yeah, again, I don't think that's on Justin Parham at all. Definitely was trying to send it in. I think he was trying to get clear, and she just gets in the turn a little too tough, and you got to wonder how much damage does that do to the 9 car. Brianna, one of the rookies on the season, not a lot of experience, much less in these cars, and another one of those learning experiences that she'll have to have here at a very tough track, and just got in a little too high. And there is nowhere to run here at a track like Darlington. Tough break for the driver of the 7. As we go back live and up front, Kenneth Redinger still leading. He stretched it out to almost a second now. Matthew Fritz in second, John Lynch in third. And he is still trying to track down the 29, still doing a good job at it. We are 26 laps in. No sign of that first pit stop yet. We will have more when we come back. Stick with us. We'll go side by side. Darlington Raceway, and I apologize there. I might have left the desktop audio on, so you guys may not have heard the commercials. You may have still heard the race audio, but nonetheless, up front, still Kenneth Redinger. What you did see during break, though, was a really close call for the 24. He got really wobbly coming off of turn 4, lost all his momentum. Fritz caught all the way up to that bumper. Was not quite able to make a move, though, and he has had to settle back into that second spot. That also helped pull John Lynch up into the mix, the second teammate here tonight for SPINO Racing. And speaking of SPINO Racing, we talk about team points, but before we talk about anything with points, let's take a look at the schedule, where we're going to head next for the NOMA Gen 6 Series. Again, the fields have gotten a little smaller in the last couple of weeks. Not sure if guys have just been busy or, it's just Darlington. I think next week, though, that's all going to change because we head to Talladega Super Speedway for 70 laps of action Gen 6 style. We saw a phenomenal race at Daytona, a different drafting package than what we're used to seeing with the next gens Xfinity cars or trucks. So looking forward to that one. After that, we head to Music City, Nashville Super Speedway. And then at the start of February, we're going to head to Chicagoland, followed by Charlotte, Texas. And then the last race of the season on February 22nd is going to be at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I think that is going to be another really good one in itself. Another close call right there for Kenneth Redinger. He's starting to push the envelope more and more. John Lynch has gotten around Matthew Fritz. And interestingly enough, I kind of felt like maybe Lynch had been burning his stuff up a little bit at the start, but doesn't seem to be the case. He has started to find some speed again, and as he gets around Fritz, that'll put him up a position from where he started this race at, and now in a position to try to go track down his teammate. Kenneth Redinger, though, back out to a almost a second and a half lead as you saw Lynch get loose off at 2. And the thing you got to be real careful with is you see right here, when you get loose, the car obviously goes down towards the inside wall. The initial instinct is to whip it hard back to the right. You cannot do that. When you get on old tires, if you do that, you are going to go head on into the outside wall. You got to slowly work it back up there, and we're still not even at the end of this fuel run. In fact, I think we're probably still about 20 to maybe 30 laps away from it. And so these things are just going to continue to become more and more of a handling issue. Oh, too big slick up. Oh, Lynch is going to go around. Does he save it? He does. What a save from John Lynch. He's still wobbling back and forth. Holy moly. I wish we had a replay of the driver cam on that one. Oh my goodness, what a close call that was for John Lynch in the 13 car. He was giving it everything. You actually saw his teammate, Kenneth Redinger, slip up just in front of him. I was saying, here we go, he's going to be able to make some ground up, and instead, he had an even bigger slip up and an even bigger catch. Watch this for the 13 coming off of turn number 2. We saw from the in-car, watch from the outside. Just gets loose right as he goes over the bump. The car's coming around on him. He's trying to stay in the throttle, hoping to get anything he can. And then, what did I say? You got to be careful when you go back right. It snaps around really easily. That's exactly what happens. But, man, he does a well of a job holding on to it and able to stay in that second spot. Loses probably another half a second, though, in total ground on your leader. So that'll give Kenneth Redinger some more breathing room, and I think he might need it right now as he continues to push the pace. Let's take a look at the lap times. Keep an eye on what they are now, and we'll take a look at what they are on fresh tires. But it looks like they're back to 32.3s. You see the fall off is almost 0.4 of a second here in just the last about 5 laps. So these guys are certainly burning through these good years, and that makes you wonder if maybe it's a 2-stop, not so much because of fuel, but necessarily more so because of tires. As each lap that goes by, the cars get harder and harder to drive. And here we go. Speaking of pit stops, Grant Turner, Justin Parham going to be the first ones in here tonight. Parham going to quickly buff out that damage. I think he may have just used his fast repair on it. And then Grant Turner in the 39 coming in. No repairs, just 4 tires and fuel. And so when these guys did decide to come in, looks like they went I'd say just a couple laps under 40 here. So this is definitely going to be a 2-stop. But now it's got me wondering if maybe they're going to have to make 2 more stops from here. And I don't think this is because of fuel mileage. I'm thinking maybe this is more or less to do with tire wear. But so as Grant Turner and Parham bring it in, we'll see if anybody else follows. Jay Stinson certainly does. And he is the next guy on the pits. Now going to fall back to 5th, but still up 5 positions from where he started. That leaves out Zach Stevens, Matthew Fritz, John Lynch, and Kenneth Redinger. So it'll be 40 laps to go when we cross the line. Let's talk about points here for just a moment. After race number 3, Pocono, we saw Kenneth Redinger get the win. No surprise, he leads in points. Chase Greer second in that battle. Justin Parham third. Grant Turner 4th. Zachary Stevens back in 5th. John Lynch in 6th. Matthew Fritz 7th. Jay Stinson 8th. EJ Madison 9th. And Clay Cantrell currently rounding out your top 10. Looks like we had 21 drivers between Daytona and here in total. But the biggest field we had, of course, was at Daytona. Expecting another good one next week at Talladega. And I think if you're anybody that's maybe a little bit farther back in points right now, that's the other race you got to have circled on your calendar, right? Daytona, Talladega, we know how much of a wild card those events are. Just about anybody's got a chance, with the draft being the great equalizer. So you look all the way back to drivers such as Brandon Laurent, Bradley King, not having the night they won here tonight. But man, they could make a big statement next week. Having teammates, though, is going to be very beneficial, so don't be surprised if we see a team like SPINO Racing tack on another win. Venom Racing still looking to see if they can put their name on the list at a super speedway this season. And it is the last super speedway we head to, so you really got to make it count. John Lynch still in second, and he's kind of even the gap back out after fading after that really close call off the turn 2. Here comes the pit stop for Matthew Fritz in the 29. And we didn't even have a chance to talk about this yet, and nobody's actually had an issue, but this is a tricky pit road. Darlington, I mean, the pit stop comes up pretty much right about the middle of turns 3 and 4, so you got to get on the apron pretty much just on entry, and you really got to get it wound up. There's no banking. It's flat all the way around to the pit stop, and if you get in just a little bit too hot, you could get into the barrels on pit entry. Back to the front, Kenneth Redinger, still no pit stop yet. I'm telling you, if he can somehow find a way to limp this car to lap 55, he might have the winning strategy on a one stop. I just think you lose too much time bringing it into the pits twice versus if you only had to do it once, but man, that's still over 10 laps away. I'm not sure if he's going to have enough tires or fuel to make it that far. Right now, still looking relatively comfortable, all things considered up front. As we take a look at the track map, nope, he's going to bring it down to the pits. Here we go, your leader making the pit stop. We'll stay on board. Talk about how tricky of a pit road it is. Look at the speed drop. I mean, he gets down all the way to under 60 miles an hour well before he gets to the pit exit, or excuse me, pit entrance, just to be able to get checked up in time. So as he brings it in, do we get any other followers? Doesn't look like it. And so right now, that's going to leave John Lynch out on track. We saw Fritz, we saw Redinger. Question now is, when are we going to see the 13 make his final stop of the night? He goes down the Boeing backstretch. He is going to go ahead and bring it down to the pits. And so this is not going to be, well, again, nobody's going to be able to make it from here, but it might only be one more stop for drivers such as Redinger and Lynch, maybe even Fritz as well, who waited probably about 5 to 10 extra laps than some of the guys who came in right as soon as that fuel window opened. So definitely a little bit of a curveball here at some of the strategy that we've seen tonight. But there's Redinger working his way out of the pits. Got the SPINO Designs and Race Teams Jeff Gordon throwback here tonight. As John Lynch brings it down, he will take 4 tires and fuel as well. This should shuffle. It looks like Chase Greer to the lead. Justin Parham will shuffle into second. Zach Stevens third. Kenneth Redinger will be fourth. And this is a guy that I want to keep an eye on the lap times for, at least for these next couple laps. Remember, it was about a 32. In fact, we can take a look there. 32.4 and 32.3. His last 2 laps out under green. Let's see what his first couple laps here are on the new tires after that green flag pit stop. And it looks like 103. That was his warm-up lap. We'll see. This is going to be that first official lap. This is where the tires are going to be at their best. Still the newest life. Looking at Zach Stevens, he's been running some fast laps just after his pit stop. So here you go, the 24 through 3 and 4. He's got a little bit of a draft. And as he comes across the line, ooh, Jay Stinson with trouble has crashed on the backstretch. And that brings out your second caution here of the night. This is where we're getting ready to take a look at Redinger's lap times. So 31, who goes around, see if he's got any damage. It's not looking, ooh, maybe he's got some on the right side, it looks like, but that's about it. Gotta wonder if he got a little tight coming off a 2. Certainly seems like that's usually the go-to right here. So here we go. And that is actually the 17 of Bradley King. And they're going to be coming around to put him a lap down. Grant Turner takes the inside. This is right as John Lynch is coming out. The 17, yeah, he's just up the track in the marbles, gets into the wall. And when he bounces off, he comes down, clips Jay Stinson, who almost snuck by. And then, as you can see, that sends the 31 to the outside. Oh, ooh, then gets a little bit more insult to injury there as he gets hit in the right front after spinning by the same car that ultimately sent him around. And Bradley King here just struggling. It's been a struggle all night, trying everything here just to kind of get to the finish. And man, unfortunately, just the worst timing if you're Jay Stinson there for the 17 to bounce off that outside wall and nowhere to run. I don't think that's damage that's necessarily going to end his race, but I think that he may, well, I'm not sure. He may have used that fast pair in that first lap ordeal that involved him and Brianna Lawrence. And there you go. Not going to be able to save it at this point. Most of it looks like it was constrained to the right front, and then going to be more to the right front right there. Grant Turner, John Lynch just able to get by this incident before it occurred. Let's take one more look at this one here from TV2. So Jay Stinson, Bradley King, the 2 cars that bring out your second caution of the night. Up front, Kenneth Redinger being scored as your leader. Matthew Fritz in second. John Lynch back in third. Chase Greer fourth. Justin Parham fifth. Zach Stevens sixth. Grant Turner in seventh. Jay Stinson eighth with Bradley King in ninth. And Brianna Lawrence currently rounding out your top 10. Going towards the front here. Let's see if we can pull Mr. Matthew Fritz here in for a quick word. He's having a good night up to this point. See how he's feeling about his car. And Matthew Fritz, this is Austin up in the booth. Got a copy. I'll try him one more time here. Hey, Matthew Fritz, this is Austin up in the booth. Got a copy.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what, so far it's been a pretty good night for you. Man, it looks like a tough track out there tonight. We know Darlington, the Lady in Black, is known for the trickiness through the corners, but you've been able to hang on. You've been in the top 3 for most of the night. What's the plan here for these next probably 50 to 60 laps?
Just try to hang on to it. It's very loose. It got very tight on me at the end. I was very surprised by that. Just I got to take it easier on the tires. I wore them out when I was in the lead, and Kenneth caught me, but he's very fast, and so does John. But top 3 would be nice, but I'm going to try and get go at least some more laps is the plan.
We're expecting one more pit stop, but strategy's also been a little all over the place here tonight. Are you expecting one more pit stop, and is there any strategy you can play, or is it going to be 4 in fuel?
Oh, it's definitely going to be 4 tires.
All right, well, we appreciate you giving us some quick insight and info. Good luck the rest of the way, and we'll see if we see you in victory lane here tonight.
Thank you, Austin.
Matthew Fritz, man, they talk about one of the guys that he really is a team player, and we've seen some things, not necessarily here in the Gen 6 series, but over in the NOMA Truck series, and of course also over here, I guess when you put it that way, that Matthew Fritz has just gone out of his way as a teammate to help his teammates prevail, and man, they love him for it. Phenomenal driver, looking for his first win of the season, potentially here tonight. He's definitely got a top 3 car, and he's got a lot of short run speed. We'll see what he can do right here off the get-go, and what adjustments can he make during the long run. You can't make any in-car adjustments. Again, it is fixed setups. However, you can maybe try to save a little bit more tires during this run. He said that his final pit stop would be 4 in fuel, and when they take the green right here, it's going to be exactly 61 laps to go. Not quite halfway, pretty close to it. Going to be about 6 laps from Kenneth Redinger on the bottom. Matthew Fritz on the outside. Lynch and Greer in row 2. Grant Turner, Justin Parham in row 3. And row back, looks like we talked about Brianna Laurent after that earlier wreck. I should say the second wreck she was involved in. That did wrap up her night. Bradley King, Jay Stinson still on the pits getting some repairs. So that has trimmed us down to only a 7-car field at the moment, as Zach Stevens will catch these guys here momentarily. And as he does so, the 33 is going to have some work ahead of him. Right now, though, your biggest mover, as small of a field as it's been tonight, is tied between Grant Turner and Jay Stinson, who currently sits on the pits. So we go back up front, though. Pace truck is going to pull off. We'll come back into the Geico restart zone. Going to take a ride on board for this restart with Matthew Fritz. Take a listen. Not the restart the 29 wanted. We'll see how aggressive he gets right here. Looks like he's going to try a crossover on the 9 of Justin Parham. Nothing doing there, and I think maybe he chose to be a little conservative. Maybe not the restart he wanted, but when he realized what it was, I think he decided to maybe bail out just a little bit and try to get these tires a couple laps to go easy on. And then once it gets a little bit later into this run, I think you might see that 29 starting to go back towards the front. Zach Stevens in the 33 already picked up the spot on his teammate Chase Greer, and Grant Turner as well in the 39. As you go back up front, Kenneth Redinger, in a matter of just a lap and a half, has already stretched the gap out to almost 0.8 of a second. I think he caught some of these guys sleeping on that restart. When you've got a fast car, you get a good restart like that, he's going to be able to be very conservative, save some tire, maybe some fuel if he needs to right here. But 51 laps now complete. John Lynch, Justin Parham, 2 of the teammates. Right now, this does put SPINO Racing 1, 2, 3 with Redinger leading, John Lynch in second, and Justin Parham third. And I feel like that should come as no surprise. They're leading in points. They've shown up to every race so far in the 4 that we've had during the season, and they have had a driver win 3 out of the 4 so far, taking Pocono, Daytona, and actually I should say 2 out of the 4. They've been very, very fast up to this point. Kenneth Redinger actually, I do take that back. It has been 3 or 4, I forgot. Redinger did get the job done at Atlanta. Was that Clay Cantrell? Man, right now, for some reason, I'm forgetting who got the win. I know at Pocono last week, we saw Kenneth Redinger. This is race number 4 at Daytona. We saw Redinger as well, so I take that back. It was actually Clay Cantrell who got the win at Atlanta, his first race. And so now, all of a sudden, that gap closing pretty quickly here. The distance between the 24 and the 13 is, I think, John Lynch maybe trying to push the issue right here, put some pressure on his teammate. Parham and Matthew Fritz following in a close couple seconds behind. If you're Redinger, I think you just save those tires, let these guys get up here. Remember, the closer they get, the harder it's going to be to get those cars to turn as they start to get in more of the turbulent air behind the 24. So right now, if you're Kenneth Redinger, you got as much downforce as you could possibly need. The gap now down to under half a second, make it 4/10 as they cross the line. This time, we will officially be halfway through this 150-mile event. Again, I want to give a quick shout out to everybody that's tuning in. By the way, it looks like Jay Stinson was able to make it back out on track, but he is being scored at the moment. One lap down and does still have a little bit of damage on that right front. I think if we're able to get one more caution, he'd be able to go in and get the rest of that fixed and hopefully also get the lucky dog. So right now he is the only car a lap down. Bradley King is 6 laps down and Randall Laurent is out of this race. 17 did make it back out on track. And now another thing I should bring up here at some point is that we don't see around the 16 or round of 8 like we do in the NOMA trucks for the Gen 6 series. It is just a straight points championship all the way through the season. With the last race at Las Vegas, we could have a champion decided maybe before then, and Las Vegas could just be a race in itself to see who can get the win. And right now, I think if you're John Lynch or Justin Parham, as much as you enjoy seeing one of your teammates win, you got to find a way here to start to stall the momentum a little bit here for the 24, or he's going to start to continue to pull away with this season championship. Matthew Fritz back here still in 4th. Again, I think he's still playing it patient. Let's take a ride on board from the roll bar cam here. And yeah, from the sound of it, definitely sounds like he's not sliding that right front as much as he was earlier. As they get off the turn 2, car looks very stable. A little bit more downforce in these than what we saw in the next gens, but also you're going to get a little bit more horsepower as well here at a track like Darlington. Redinger right back up by the wall. Parham looks like he was thinking about taking a peek on his teammate. Nothing doing there. He'll have to settle for now by staying behind him. And there you go. Looks like Parham actually bails out of the throttle a little bit earlier than Lynch, and that allows him to roll through the middle of the corner better, but John Lynch still pretty good on exit. That time Parham was able to duck down just a little bit lower. Quick run for the 9 is going to die out as he got tight on exit. And so that'll pull Matthew Fritz right back up into the mix. 58 laps now complete. It's going to be 59 when they cross the start-finish line. So that final pit stop, I think we probably are expecting that, if I had to guess, maybe somewhere right around lap 90. It's going to be my general guess, maybe a little bit sooner. I think lap 80 at the earliest. Any sooner than that, I don't think it's the right strategy call, but we'll have to see what these guys all decide to do. We are going to take our second break of the night. We will go side by side again, so you don't miss a thing. Redinger leads at Darlington. Stay with us. Front, now we're going to see a little 4-wide action.
Crazy out of the trial.
Oh, he gets in the lead on the record.
3 by 3 entering 4.
3
He's
deep.
blocked.
At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning it at Talladega. Back live at Darlington Raceway, 64 of 110 laps completed. Kenneth Redinger still leads. It's been the case pretty much most of the night. We saw Matthew Fritz showing a little dominance early, but has since fallen after a couple restarts back to the 6th position. I thought he was kind of staying back there, maybe getting ready to make a move here later in the run, but doesn't seem to have been the case for the 29. He is still stuck back there. You gotta wonder if maybe he makes a short pit here, tries some sort of strategy. Right now, things just not necessarily going the way that the 29 would probably like them to. Kenneth Redinger, the gap is about a second. Justin Palmer had been catching John Lynch for a little while. That has now changed. He has fallen back a little bit. Justin Palmer still in 3rd, though. Zach Stevens in 4th. He's been the man on the move recently here. He's up 2 from where he started. Grant Turner is as well. In fact, speaking of Grant Turner, let's take a ride on board here. Take a look at the driver cam. Talk about Grant working the wheel a lot here tonight. Again, doesn't race with the normal wheel that we see these guys on oval use. In fact, he uses a GT wheel. I believe, again, it's a Ferrari wheel with a Porsche sticker slapped on it. But nonetheless, he gets some contact right there to the outside wall. It's another Darlington stripe that he'll pick up as he continues on just in front. A big moment right there for Justin Parham. Turner salutes the camera, but the big story right there was, how did the 9 hold on? You saw him get all the way down just about to the inside wall coming off of turn 4. Let's back this up and take another look. And each lap that goes by, we continue to see more and more guys struggle with getting loose on exit. So here you go, coming through the turn. That's not the issue. It's going to be coming out right here. And he just gets out of shape. Does a good job, though, with getting it straightened out. Not immediately trying to whip it back to the right. With that, he's able to maintain his position, but does lose some time. And now Zachary Stevens going to be knocking on the back door here probably pretty quickly. 33 of Zachary Stevens. We saw him in the Truck Series, making his debut last season. And here in the Gen 6 Series, he is on Venom Racing, also known as Hickox Racing. So he's got a good team behind him, and he has shown a lot of talent in the early goings of this season. Again, not quite halfway through just yet, but another driver that I would say to keep your eye on when we head to Talladega Super Speedway next week. And I think that race, honestly, could be the best one we see of the season. I think you're going to see another big field, and I think you might even see a little bit better racing than what we saw at Daytona, as Talladega is about a lane wider. And as Zach Stevens is going to start to fade a little bit, gives us a chance to take a look at the other driver that we had carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. It is Mr. John Lynch, for SPINO Racing team owner. Boy, he put together an absolute powerhouse of a team. It seems like, from what we've seen, at least through a couple of the NOMA series, where one or the other, in terms of Redinger or Parham go, the other goes. And so by John Lynch snagging one of them, he immediately was able to snag both. And that team is going to be going head-to-head all season with Venom Racing. Venom Racing does have a couple more drivers, but I think so far, the early part of the season, it's SPINO Racing showing a little bit more promise, at least at this point. There's Jay Stinson, comes down to the pits. I'm not sure if that was a scheduled stop here, maybe his final stop, but still seems a little bit early with 40 laps to go. I think you got to wonder if maybe he was coming in to try to repair some more damage, maybe slap on another set of Goodyears if the handling was starting to really fall apart. Nonetheless, he's actually going to go back down to the pits. Yeah, what is going on here for Jay Stinson? Not what he wanted to have happen. This is going to cost him at least another lap, as he's already 5 down. This is going to put him 6. And at a certain point here, you got to wonder if the 31 is considering bringing his night to an end after being involved in a couple of earlier wrecks. Not sure if did you maybe have another incident here. Looks like the steering is a little offset. In fact, we're going to back this up. I don't think he did. We're going to back this up just a couple laps here real quick and see if we missed anything. Again, you wondered what happened that brought the 31 down to the pits. It doesn't look like he chose to take anything. Yeah, he was just down here repairing as much damage as he could, and he had quite a bit of it, so he sat there for looks like 3 or 4 laps. There's the tires and fuel. As he came back out, I don't think this was any new damage. I think this was more or less just damage that he had. Although coming off of turn 4, and he does make a little contact with the outside wall, but yeah, I think that's just going to be, he was feeling that the damage was a little bit too much, came in to repair it, and coming in for some more repairs. Tough break again for any Jay Stinson fans out here tonight in the chat. Kenneth Redinger still leads. John Lynch in 2nd. Justin Parham 3rd. Zach Stevens back in 4th. Grant Turner 5th with Chase Greer in 6th. Matthew Fritz in 7th. Riley King back in 8th. And then 9th through 10th have retired from the race, at least at this point. So 73 laps complete. Starting to get closer to what could be that final pit stop. Again, I think you have to wait till at least lap 80, maybe closer to lap 90 to play it safe. As they do so, let's take a quick look at where we're going to head next. Talked about it a little bit earlier. Actually, we didn't. We forgot to talk about it here tonight, but doubleheader tonight on Ghost Racing Network. The next place we're going to head is over to the PGR Esports Thursday Night Money Racing Series. Tonight, it's the Don Merck 048s. 100% payback as always. And look at these payouts. 250 to first, 175 to second, 150 to third, 125 to fourth, 120 to fifth, and 80 to sixth. Qualifying is at 10:30. Race at 10:35. Matthew Baker will be joining me in the booth. Potentially Dawson Wise as well. 48 laps, 45% fuel. And the biggest changes, we're going to be in the Xfinity cars over there tonight. It's going to be some good super speedway racing. We saw Moon Car owner Travis Brown along with a lot of Coke drivers last week. I think we might see more of the same here tonight. 75 laps now complete. First three, still no change. All the SPINO Racing drivers. Zach Stevens has now fallen about half a second off the back bumper of Justin Parham. Grant Turner back in fifth. And right now, he's still up 2 from where he started. Chase Greer. Looks like actually Matthew Fritz here. I think he made his last pit stop. And so the 29, again, feel like it's coming in a little bit early, but might be the strategy call, because I did say that I thought Matthew Fritz would maybe have to try short pitting if he wanted a chance at getting back to the front. He'd fallen quite a few positions from where he restarted at. And so to get all that back, he was going to have to try something. He'll make up a ton of lap time and potentially come out in front of Kenneth Redinger if these pit cycles are able to cycle indeed under green. However, Redinger on the backside that will have the better tires and should theoretically be able to get back around pretty quickly. 77 laps, so we're going to be coming up on 30 laps to go here in just a few laps. Nancy Hickox earlier, I forgot to read it, but said, good job, Venom Racing. Number 29 is stretched out, but always cheer for the grandson, John Lynch. Do your best, 13. There he is, John Lynch currently in second, up the spot from where he started, as is Justin Parham. Zach Stevens still back in third, Grant Turner in fourth, and you know, I'm kind of at a little bit of a stalemate up here in the booth. I got to be honest, I wish I had some more racing to show you, but Darlington, it's just one of those tracks on the schedule. It's a very technical track. A lot of drivers like it, including your leader, Kenneth Redinger. The more technical the track is, the more he likes it, but there's just not really been many passes or much battling here tonight. One of those tracks where you got to set a guy up for multiple laps. You kind of get one shot at it, especially if you're on old tires. If it works, it works. You move on. If it doesn't, then you're going to have to fall back and hopefully have a chance to try it again in a couple laps. Zach Stevens looks like he's going to bring it down the pits. Oh, he's getting it a little hot there. Was able to get it turned down, though, get down to pit speed. And so the 33 is going to be the second driver to bring it down for what should be his final pit stop of the night. And he does so with, looks like, 32 laps to go. That's a good time to do it. I think he's right in that sweet spot, and I think this might start to bring some more of the field down to the pits, as Stevens had been up inside the top 5 just before he made that stop. And so what do you do here now if you're John Lynch or Justin Parham? Everybody is chasing the leader right now, and doesn't seem like they're going to have the raw speed to beat him, although Lynch has been slowly trimming the gap down almost under a second at this point. But do you maybe try to short pit him and then try to play some defense? You maybe try to long pit him and then play offense towards the end. It's just all different strategies, and you got to wonder what's going to work out. And if you're Kenneth Redinger, you've got a decision to make too. Do you go in early and try to make that gap even bigger for when all the pit stops cycle out, or do you try to be the last one to go in and have the freshest tires for the end of this race? Looks like John Lynch is going to bring it down to the pits here. Looks like Justin Parham, his teammate, will follow. Kenneth Redinger stayed out. Oh, Parham hitting sideways there coming into the pits, but he's able to get it woke down. He misses the barrels. And so 2 out of the 3 SPINO Racing drivers will now make their pit stop. Chase Greer, Matthew Fritz already pit, will take over those 2 spots here. In fact, this is some interesting strategy here. Actually, Chase Greer, I don't believe, has pit yet. Matthew Fritz, can he get in front of these 2? That's the next question. As right now they go down the bullish backstretch. Looks like Parham and Lynch just now going to bring it down to their pit stop. And here you go, Kenneth Redinger. He's going to make a stop right here as well. And so it looks like your leaders are going to make their final stops with just under 30 laps to go. Although Grant Turner going to stay out a little longer. He maybe is going to try some strategy right here. Saw a 2-tire strategy for Grant Turner that worked pretty well at Pocono last week. Not sure if he's maybe thinking about trying more of the same here at Darlington, or going to try to gamble and hope for a caution. But I think probably right around lap 90 is going to be the latest that he can go. We'll see if he chooses to stay out that long. Chase Greer in the 8 moves up to second as he has still not made his final stop. Kenneth Redinger awaiting tires and fuel, but here you go. Matthew Fritz in the 29 roaring down the front stretch. Is he going to get past the 24? He isn't. Oh no, I think Kenneth Redinger has gotten a penalty. He lost all sorts of time on Matthew Fritz. We'll have to go back and take a look at this, but I think that's exactly what happened here. Seemed like quite a long sit in the pits, and I don't know if they were necessarily still doing tires. Well, maybe not. That's insane to me then. That's just the amount of time that Matthew Fritz was able to make up by short pitting on new tires. Look at this. He does a pretty good stop here, takes lefts, rights, immediately gets back out, but Matthew Fritz made up all sorts of time. As in fact, caution is out. We got trouble back here. Saw 2 cars involved, and it's the teammates Chase Greer and Zach Stevens. T-boned almost upside down as Jay Stinson slides in. That'll turn it into a 3-car incident for Venom Racing. The 33 is destroyed. No rear bumper. The toe is bent all out of whack. Chase Greer takes it down to the pits. He is crab walking right now, trying to do anything. Oh my goodness. That might be the most destroyed car we have seen up to this point on the season. And so Zach Stevens, that's going to be a fast repair. He does have one left. Jay Stinson, that's going to be a night ender. I have to believe as he came plowing in there. Man, look at the damage. Yeah, he's got, looks like his toe's out of whack as well on the left front. And that is a really, really tough break for the teammates. Let's go back, take a look at exactly what happens here. Saw 2 cars initially sliding. It was Stevens and Chase Greer. And after that is where things got ugly. Here we go. Take a look from TV2. Zach Stevens on the outside, Chase Greer on the inside, and I think Stevens was maybe just trying to make it stick on the outside. He had a little bit of a run, but just usually not a place that you try to make that move. At the same time, Greer's starting to get tight as they come up on exit, and yeah, it does look like Greer maybe had a little bit of a checkup in the middle of the corner. Stevens tried to sneak around the outside, but just not enough room. Once he gets in the wall, he gets down into his teammate. That turns the 8 of Chase Greer around. They slow down. The 33 comes rolling, and then, oh man, Parham piles in. I didn't even see that. And then here you go, Jay Stinson. He's going to plow in as well with nowhere to go, maybe hoping that they were going to slide back down. That is one of the oddest looking wrecks that we have seen all season. We have got to take some onboard views here. First one is with Chase Greer here. Does he just slip up? As they're going through 3 and 4. Yeah, he starts getting tight through the corner, and then but nothing really out of the ordinary. Zach Stevens has got to run. Goes to take it on his teammate here. And then the hole just closes off as soon as he gets in there. And Justin Parham looks like committed to the top. Man, that was a hard hit for a couple of these guys. So he can't see the wreck at this point. I'm not sure if the caution was out, but he's trying to turn down and ultimately just slides in. That's heavy right front damage. And then Jay Stinson looks like commits to the top, and same deal for him. So we take a couple more looks, a couple more angles rather at this one. Jay Stinson was all the way back on the backstretch when this wreck started, and it doesn't look like you can quite see it from there, but Zach Stevens, I'm telling you, he almost got upside down. Chase Greer probably got the least of it, and I think Jay Stinson got the worst of it. Take 2 more angles of this one right here. So there's the first contact. And then a little bit of older tires here for Parham, as he had already ran a couple laps after the pit stop and just not enough grip to turn down. There's the big impact that rips the rear bumper off for Stevens, and then here's going to be the final one that almost gets him over. I mean, this was probably about 10-15 seconds after the wreck. So just not really sure there. Again, if Jay Stinson the spotter wasn't calling out that they were wrecking ahead, or if the caution hadn't flown at this point, but that's a tough break for 3 of the Venom Racing drivers, and then of course one of the SPINO Racing drivers, Justin Parham. Back up front, Grant Turner being scored as your leader. Looks like he got that caution he wanted, so the gamble pays off with the 39. He is now leading up 6 from where he started. Matthew Fritz back in 2nd, John Lynch in 3rd, Kenneth Redinger 4th, Chase Greer back in 5th, Zach Stevens in 6th, Justin Parham in 7th, Bradley King in 8th, Jay Stinson 9th, Brandon Laurent rounding out your top 10. Robert Dubedak, actually go back a little bit further here. Nancy Hickox just before that wreck was saying, sorry you're struggling, Jay. Proud of the hard work you do for this league, and unfortunately the struggles continue tonight for Jay Stinson. Nancy Hickox then says, followed by Robert Dubedak says, holy ARCA break. Certainly got that right on the last one. I think, again, there had to be something there for Jay that we just didn't see. Jay, the last guy that you would know that would do something like that, obviously there was no intent there. It was just really odd set of circumstances. Fortunately, So it's going to bring the 31 ends to a night. So we're going to retire another car from this race in the 31 of Jay Stinson. Parham still on the pits. And so up front now, actually I shouldn't say up front, I should say in total, looks like we only have 4, maybe 5 cars left running. And just in time too, because it's going to be 23 laps to go. Can Grant Turner find his first win of the season here tonight? We're getting ready to find out. Green flag is back in the air. It's a good jump for the 39. Right off the get-go, he will pull out to a multiple car lead, going down into turn number 1. And he is going to ride right up the banking, trying anything he can to pull away from that second and third place car of John Lynch and Matthew Fritz. Keep an eye. Oh, the 33 of Stevens, another big save. Further back, started laying down his own tire tracks, but somehow kept it together. He had a lot of bumper. Well, did he get some help here from Chase Greer? I don't think he did. I think those two are teammates. I think he just gets loose here. Yeah, no, that was just Chase Greer catching. Yeah, he just gets out of shape. But there you go. Look at the tire tracks he starts laying down. Man, that was a close call. Coming up on that inside safer barrier in a hurry, but he saves it. He's able to get back on track. So as we go back live, Grant Turner, right now the gap is only just under half a second, so he's not in safe territory just yet. We've seen how fast John Lynch has been here tonight. Another driver looking for his first win on the season, as is Matthew Fritz. Redinger, who is all the way back to 4th, he needs to start making a charge here, and he needs to start making one soon, because there is only 21 laps to go, and as each lap goes on, these cars get more and more spread out. It's going to get harder and harder to pass, and it's going to be more and more reliant on needing a caution. I think we're going to have a race for the lead here, probably in about a handful of laps, as John Lynch continues to slowly reel in Grant Turner. We will catch that battle and more when we come back from what is hopefully our final break of the night. We're going to go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us at Darlington. Front, now we're going to see a little 4-wide action.
Crazy out of the triangle.
Oh, he gets into the lead on the record.
3x3 entering 4.
3 deep. At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning it at Talladega. Back live at Darlington Raceway, battle for the lead is on with 15 laps to go. John Lynch is caught up. Here's the move, taking a look to the inside. Nothing doing. He'll quickly jump back up to the outside. Grant Turner leading, but he has got all the pressure in the world. How fitting is it that both drivers that we have on the driver camera, the two going at it And all this battling has allowed Matthew Fritz to pull right up to the back bumper of both of these two. And I'm calling it right now, if they get into it or either driver slips up, watch for that 29 to pounce, make a move, and maybe steal one, his first one of the season. Right now, John Lynch, he is working on the inside of that car, trying everything to get around Grant Turner. It's not an easy pass. Turner looking for a block. He looks twice, makes it work. Now to the outside goes the 13 of John Lynch. He is going to try to make it stick. Nothing doing. He gets tight. Watch for the crossover move though on exit here. Can he get anything going? Oh, he slips up. Now Turner slips up. The crossover is not going to work, but he gets another run to the outside. Lynch trying to hang even. He can't do it. Now he does, get into turn one. Up the track. Turner bails out. He is all out of shape. The 29 of Matthew Fritz is going to go around. Big slip up, and I called it, didn't I? The 29 of Matthew Fritz was waiting for that. What a move, though, by John Lynch. Avoid the contact. Grant Turner now fighting hard with Matthew Fritz, trying to hold on. This is poor Kenneth Redinger back into the mix. Who would have guessed that with only 10 cars, we would have saw one of the greatest battles that we have seen all season. Coming to 12 laps to go. Redinger, he is trying everything. He is going to have to get past these 3 cars here as quickly as possible if he wants a chance at catching the 13. And right now, if you're John Lynch, you have got to be thinking smooth and consistent. But these next 11 and a half laps are going to be the longest that he has ran all season. Grant Turner, though, he is really holding up the 29 and the 24 right now. That's what Lynch wants to see. And I think if we get probably 2 more laps ticked off at this pace, I think maybe John Lynch could start to walk away with this. But all of a sudden, he slips up off of 4. So Grant Turner, he's going to pull about 3 or 4 tenths off. And just like that, it's back down to almost half a second now. 11 laps to go. At the Lady in Black, Grant Turner with a lot of pressure. He is mirror driving and driving out of the windshield right now. Just tried everything. Now it's a slip up from Matthew Fritz. He'll fall back a couple. Oh, actually, Kenneth Redinger slipped up even bigger. I was getting ready to say that should give Redinger a run. Nothing doing. And so all of a sudden now, Grant Turner, he'll get a little breathing room. Can he find a way to track down your leader again? Go on board here with Grant Turner. He is going to be running these good years for all they are worth. Go to the onboard view. Not a lot of break at this point. This is all hoping that it sticks. And he gets down a little bit earlier. That's not going to work, though. He gets tight on exit contact with the outside wall. Matthew Fritz gets another run. Does he take a look to the inside? Not quite enough to do it. 10 laps to go. I know it's a long ways away, but if we can make it to the white flag, this race would be official. But right now, with the amount of contact we're seeing to the outside wall, I'm not sure if we're going to get there. Matthew Fritz and Grant Turner are still fighting hard for that second spot. Other one looking to see if they can hold on to the last podium position is Redinger, who had what looked like the most dominant car all night. All of a sudden, after losing track position under that caution, it's just not been the same. And now he's starting to overdo it a little bit as he cooks the tires and gets into the outside wall coming off of turn number 2. That'll pull Zach Stevens back up to the mix. That is not fourth position, though. Stevens a lap down. In fact, right now, we only have 4 cars on the lead lap. Stevens and Greer a lap down, looking for a caution. Bradley King being scored 12 laps down. Parham, Stinson, and Laurent all in the pits and currently out of the race. Back up front, Lynch, the only man that's not hit the outside wall here. It looks like at least in the last couple laps, but Grant Turner, he continues to catch. The gap keeps kind of fluctuating. It gets down to about half a second. Then he makes a couple mistakes for a couple laps. It gets back up. Oh, there's the mistake. Oh, the 39 trying to save it. He does as he got into the outside wall again. And these two just keep trading mistakes right now. Who can keep it cleaner? That outside wall can be a little bit of your friend if you just tap it. But you got to be ever so careful. And Grant Turner back in the footsteps here of John Lynch. That time it looked like Grant got a little bit of a better corner. He did. But John Lynch with the cleanest air continues to try to pull a little bit of a gap. And they're going to be coming to 6 laps to go. Kenneth Redinger has now fallen over 4 seconds behind this front group of 3 cars. He is out of it without a caution. As we now come to 6 laps at the line. Get your picks in now. Who's going to win it? Nancy Hickok says you did call it. Hold on to it, J.O. He is doing just that, Nancy. Looking for his first win, and he is going to be plenty excited about it if he can indeed hold on. He ran top 3 most of the night. Didn't have the speed his teammate did, but he got some track position. Was able to get around Grant Turner in a move with just over 10 laps to go. Since then, he has not looked back, and now he's going to be coming up on 5 laps to go. Still hold your breath right here on can Grant Turner and Matthew Fritz pull themselves back up into this battle. Draft here, not enough of a factor to help these guys out at all. And Grant just keeps slipping up. Man, he's pushing these tires for all they're worth, and you got to wonder, has he ran out of stuff as he gets tight again? Back into the outside wall this time. It's going to be too much as he overdoes it. A little shake of the head. He's not proud of it, but he was going for what he had left. That will finally allow Matthew Fritz to go by, and all of a sudden, now that the 29 has moved into second, you got to wonder, does he have enough time to catch? It's going to be 4 laps to go at the line. John Lynch hoping we can run 3 more clean so he can take that white flag and not have to look back. He currently has a 1 second cushion. I think that's enough here. Well, maybe not, because Fritz, he's starting to close, but I think if we can get to 2 laps to go, and if you're John Lynch, you can ease out a little bit. You don't have to push it as hard as you've been the last 10 laps anymore. You just don't want to make a mistake, get into the outside wall, or get loose off one of these corners. But he continues to look nice and comfortable. Gets a little bit tight there. Fritz getting sideways off of turn 4, but the gap did not close up in total through that lap. 3 laps to go. It's still a second right now between John Lynch and Matthew Fritz. Grant Turner has fallen back about half a second now from where he was. Second, Matthew Fritz continues to pull away from the 39 as he gets loose again. Kenneth Redinger, no gain there. In fact, he's back another 7 seconds after some of the contact he made with the outside wall. So here we go, John Lynch out of turn 4. This will be the last lap for a caution if we're going to get one. And this is probably going to be the fastest lap that he tries to run all race. Grant Turner got loose again. And right now, John Lynch is saying, Grant, hold on to it for 1 more lap. I need to see the white flag so that I can finish this thing out with no cautions. He is looking for his first win of the season. Go down, going backstretch for the second to last time here tonight. Again, top 3 all night. He's seen one of his teammates go to victory lane twice this season. The other one, multiple top 3s, couple top 3s himself included. But now he is looking to add a win and add yet another one to SPINO Racing. White flag is out. 1 lap to go for John Lynch. Through 1 and 2, the gap just extending from here, 1.5 seconds. He can just about coast it home from here. Final time down the backstretch at Darlington Raceway. John Lynch looking for that first win of the season. 1 more set of corners to do it. The driver from Yulee, Florida, created SPINO Racing when he came into the sport, and since then he has had a lot of success in the trucks, and now he's going to do it in the Gen 6 Series. John Lynch wins it at the Lady in Black. He's excited for it. You saw the reaction. And man, oh man, Matthew Fritz brings home second, Grant Turner in third. But John Lynch, first win out of the way, and I think we are going to see him maybe start to go on a tear. Remember when he got his first win in the NOMA Truck Series? The streak started from there. What a job he did tonight at one of the toughest tracks we go to on the schedule. And real quick, let's take a look at your results before he comes around to burn it down. Your race winner tonight, John Lynch, Matthew Fritz in second, Grant Turner third, Kenneth Redinger finishes up in fourth, Zach Stevens fifth, Chase Greer in sixth, Bradley King in seventh with Justin Parham eighth, Jay Stinson in ninth, and Brianna Laurent rounding out your top 10. Nice job, by the way, to Grant Turner for being able to hold on that last lap or so. Man, it was tough. Could see him over here on the driver cam, and he was working the wheel, trying everything just to hold on. He does so. Again, was able to hang on to that podium position. And so as John Lynch burns it down to celebrate, we are going to go pull your top 3 in here for interviews. We will be right back. Stick with us to Darlington. Back live at Darlington Raceway. Going to start first here tonight with your third place finisher, Grant Turner. Grant, this is Austin in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, a good finish overall. First thing I want to say is, man, you were wheeling that thing the last couple laps. Looks like you gave it all it had. Was there anything you wish you would have done differently in trying to catch your leader after he got by?
There's nothing really I could say. Yeah. Even if I saved my tires a bit more, he would have gotten to me faster.
Well, a good run nonetheless. I mean, we saw the smaller field tonight. You tried everything. I feel like I got to ask you about the strategy play. I mean, we saw you staying out there. Were you kind of banking on the caution, or did you feel like you got lucky? And overall, how'd you feel about the way your race went overall tonight?
Yeah, I was banking on a yellow, but I was also thinking long term because of how easy you saw the tires wearing down. My hope was to have fresher tires at the end by hopefully at least enough of a margin to catch up to through the field.
Well, 2 weeks, you get two.
I definitely was not going to go for a two-tire strategy, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, 2 weeks, 2 podiums. You certainly have started to figure that strategy out a little bit. A lot of momentum right now. So before we let you head out, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
I do want to thank you for doing the broadcast, as well as all the sponsors of the league. I do want to thank Splash and Go Graphic for their liveries, especially with my throwback today being Jeff Gordon's Talladega paint scheme from 2004. And I do want to thank GamerStuffs for giving me the energy to actually even handle this.
Congrats again on the 3rd place finish. Thank you for talking to us, and we will see you next week at Talladega.
Have fun. I got to take a shower.
All right, there you go. And now that's going to bring us to your 2nd place finisher here on the night, Venom Racing's Matthew Fritz. Matthew, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Oh, yes, sir.
Well, you bring home 2nd tonight. Took a while to get around Grant Turner. Once you did, I was wondering if you'd have enough for your leader. Not quite. You come up just about a 2.5 short. Tell us about your race here tonight.
I had a blast. I love this place. Yeah, it was very tough to drive tonight. I would say that it's probably one of the hardest cars I've tried to. It's very hard to drive. Tonight it was very difficult, but I had fun, blast, slipping and sliding.
Well, next week we head back to Talladega Super Speedway, 2nd and last Super Speedway of the season. Going to be back to the team style racing. How you feeling about your chances there?
We got a team to hopefully win. One of us win. That'd be the best thing. And I love Talladega, so hopefully our team can pull out a win there.
Sounds like a plan. Well, before we let you go tonight and enjoy your 2nd place finish, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
My teammates, Jay. Joey's not here tonight. Zach Stevenson and Chase Greer, great team of Venom. And my mom and dad watching, and my grandmother shouting out Manny Rays and my mom's pet sitting business on the car. And you, Austin, of course. You do a great job.
Well, thank you for talking to us. Congrats again on the 2nd place finish, and we'll see you next week at Dega.
Yes, thank you, Austin.
All right, now that's going to bring us to your winner here tonight. First win of the season for John Lynch. John, this is Austin in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, you get the job done, and, man, watching it here from the broadcast perspective, once you got in front of the 39, you never looked back. Looked like you conserved the stuff just long enough. But first thing, tell us about the move that you were able to put on the 39. It's not easy to pass here, and yet somehow you found a way.
As the great F1 driver Daniel Ricciardo always says, I licked the stamp and sent it. I just prayed he gave me the room, and props to Grant for giving me the space there. He's like, oh yeah, sorry for hitting you. I'm like, dude, I didn't even know you hit me. That was awesome.
It was great racing, a great finish nonetheless. Now, we saw how dominant your 2 teammates were here tonight. You ran 3rd, you ran 2nd. It wasn't until that final restart that we ran 1st. Do you think that caution was really the changing point for your race? And what do you guys look to do as a team moving on to Talladega next week?
Yeah, honestly, when they all wadded up after the pit stop and we got caught a lap down, I'm like, oh crap, we're screwed. But thankfully I was able to get the lucky dog and didn't realize there was that many cars out of the race, so I ended up restarting 3rd. Didn't hurt me too bad, and I just bided my time and just nursed my way past Grant, send it past him, and then once I got past Grant, I knew he would give Fritz a fight. And then I'm like, okay, I gotta focus out the windshield, and I'm good from here on out if I just don't use my stuff up.
We did just that, and you got the win. Before we let you head out tonight, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to thank y'all for putting on the broadcast, Jay and Joey and all them for putting on the league, and of course SPINO Designs, Yankee Pie Beats, Lunchables Podcast, Mercer Insulation, and I have one request for you, Mr. Austin.
Sure, what is it?
So pre-race, I may or may not have made a bet that I would do a shoey on stream, and I know we have the cameras up. So would you mind letting me
Absolutely.
go
I
through with
want
that
to
bet?
see this, but hold on, give me just a moment. We are going to take a quick break. Stick with us because when we come back, we are going to do a shoey here apparently with John Lynch. All right, back live at Darlington Raceway, and we had a special request, it sounds like, from your winner here tonight. John Lynch said he made a bet if he got the win, he would do a shoey. So here you go, live on camera. John Lynch, let's see it. Well, I've seen a lot of crazy stuff in sim racing. Can't say I've seen that one just yet, but hey, you won. You're the man. Congratulations on it. I think I already asked you, but I feel like we almost got to ask again after seeing you do a shoey. Is there anyone else you need to thank or shout out?
Yeah, shout out to Rachel.
All right, there you go. Thanks for talking to us tonight. Congrats on the win, and maybe if we see you get another one, we get to see a second one of those. We'll see you at Digga next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, and that is just about going to wrap up our coverage here tonight at the Lady in Black. John Lynch is your winner, first win of the season, and I'm not kidding when I tell you I have never seen something quite like that in my time of broadcasting, but I'm glad that I did. John Lynch, he's happy about it, and man, what a race we saw. It might have only been 10 cars. We saw a phenomenal battle at the end. Thank you all so much for coming out. We'll be back next week with the Gen 6 Series at Talladega Super Speedway. Until next time.